Going on, everybody? Read Acts of the Apostles, chapter 6 today. 15 verses. Basically, the apostles are just like jam-packed busy. Like they're trying to, like overwatch all these people. Like they're getting a whole bunch of believers to follow them. But at the same time, they got to keep preaching, but they have to worry about feeding them and finances. So they're just like jam-packed. And like some people are saying like this group's getting more food than we are, all that. So they were humble enough to say like we can't do this all. Like our job should be spreading the gospel, performing miracles, praying for people. So they assigned 7 other dudes to worry about the food, worry about the finances. So takeaway: humility's key. You need balance in your life. You can't do it all. If all you do is go, 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 it doesn't end well. You need balance in your life. You need to be humble. Realize you can't do everything. You need to find, what I wrote is find your role, figure out like what can I practically do in my life, and then excel in that role. So figure out what's your role, and I think everybody's role is spreading the gospel. I think that's a big one, but find your role. Now find out what can I practically do. So for me, I realized like YouTube would work. People are all over social media. That's a practical thing I can do, is record YouTube videos of my Bible takeaways, share it to others, and now try to excel in it, try to get the best takeaways that I can, try to really reach a big audience. So you got to ask yourself, what's my role? How can I impact people? And then what can I practically do? If you're like, I'm trying to think of examples here, but you got to figure out, what can I do like in my life today? Like what's a step I can take towards spreading the gospel, towards getting somebody closer to Jesus? If it's having a conversation with somebody, ask them. If it's inviting somebody to a Bible study, invite them, like send them that text. You know what I'm saying? So find something that you can like legit do today. Like don't just talk about it, but like actually take that step closer towards spreading the gospel, towards pushing somebody closer to Jesus. And I was scared at first to post a YouTube video. The first step was scary, but once you get it, then I talked about consistency leads to momentum. I've consistently posted. Now there's nothing scary. I've had a ton of people give me positive reviews. Like, I love the videos, keep it up. So like, that first step might seem scary, but just take it. I promise you it's so worth it. And then, so a big thing I talked about as well, like a practical step I can take is I'm really trying to focus on like genuine relationships with people. Just try to be joyful when I speak. I want my words to have value and just be the best dude that I can be. So that was my first takeaway. I had 3 of them, 3 takeaways today. The second one was, so they picked 7 guys to worry about, keeping track of the food and the finances, and one of them was Stephen. And it said Stephen was full of God's grace. And it also talked about Paul is a huge writer of the New Testament in the Bible, and Paul was at one point the opposite of, what Jesus stands for. Paul was doing terrible things with his life. He turned it around. He found Jesus. Same with Stephen. He wasn't the greatest person before, but then he found Jesus. He was full of God's grace, and that's same with you and me. A lot of people think like I'm too far gone to get closer to Christ. It's not true. That's not how that works. Jesus didn't die for 70% of your sins. Jesus didn't die for 50% of your sins. He died for all your sins. So if you take that step of faith, like I believe in him, if you get to know him, he's willing to forgive you. And I think you just got to realize you're never too far gone. Like you can turn your life around. Stephen did, Paul did. I've turned my life around. Like getting to know God, like if you are willing to dedicate your life to him, he will find a way for you to benefit others, for you to grow the kingdom of heaven. So don't think you're too far gone. Like trust me, give your life to God. Like say like I'm willing to like give up my lifestyle of how I live and turn my lifestyle, do a complete 180. My lifestyle is now dedicated to Christ. Like he will use you to benefit society, to benefit other people. Your life will get so much better, like I promise you. So that was takeaway number 2, is realize like God is willing to forgive you and willing to turn your life around. Like it doesn't have to be the same old struggle. Like you can turn your life around. And then number 3 was Stephen started preaching. Stephen like kept track of the food and stuff, but he also preached and performed miracles as well. And like talked about like more religious leaders, like they didn't like this again. He was preaching about Jesus, and more people like didn't like this. And so they had nothing on this guy. Like everything he was doing was like nothing was illegal, So they had to they were getting nervous because he was gaining all these, like, he was helping people grow closer to Christ. So all these religious leaders were getting nervous. They're like, we got nothing on this guy. Like, everything he's doing is right. Like, none of it's illegal. Like he might be right, actually. They were getting kind of scared. Like, maybe Stephen is preaching about the right stuff. So they lied. They said that he was blasphemous towards God, you know, and they said he was blasphemous towards Moses. So they lied and said, we need to arrest this guy. And what I wrote down is people hate the truth. And that often applies to us. Like, you gotta look yourself in the mirror. That's what I wrote down. People hate the truth. I hate when I get called out on my sin. I hate admitting to God, like, my lifestyle is not right. But that's where all the growth is. You know, you can't grow if you can't look in the mirror. So you gotta ask yourself, like what's holding me back? It's not fun to admit it at all. It's not fun to talk about it. But every single one of us makes decisions every single day that stabs God in the back, and we're just lucky enough He's willing to allow us to grow from those mistakes. But you look in the mirror, you'll find a lot of growth. First step to solving a problem is admitting there is one. So ask yourself what you need to work on and go grow.